What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM Pre-Game Live. Eagles, Vikings, 1 p.m. kickoff, just over a half hour away in Minnesota for this Week 7 matchup. I'm one half your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. And we are live, as always, on the DSM-Media Philadelphia YouTube channel, as well as the DSM Twitter channel. So make sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Hit that follow button. And then, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel that you can see below me on your screen. If you are watching on Twitter, we greatly appreciate the transition on over and help us continue to grow. My man, happy Sunday. Not so happy Sunday at the moment, but we're trying to pick up the vibes, trying to get more excited. And we're going to learn a lot more about this 4-2 Eagles club today to see how they respond to the last 2 weeks, man. Jalen Carter seems like a go. Quinyon Mitchell is a go. Brandon Graham, the vibes guy of all vibes guys, might be a go to the Birds. We're going to break down everything in this game, giving you guys our keys to victory, our predictions, some best bets, everything you guys want to get into. So make sure to drop a subscribe for us and drop comments and your predictions. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir. Let's go Birds. You mentioned it. Definitely the last few days have been killing my vibe personally when it comes to specifically sports betting. But we have the Birds, and I'm not going to bring that negativity into this show. So I'm going to come into it with a positive mindset. I'm going to remember who the Birds are today, and I'm going to hope that they remember who they are today. And yeah, this is a big matchup, obviously. Going into Minnesota, coming off 2 losses, you need a W today. I think that's the baseline, but I think also how it looks today is going to matter a ton as well. That offense needs to produce today. I don't care what the defense on the other side looks like. I don't care about Brian Flores. The offense needs to produce today. So yeah, big game, and I'm hoping the Eagles can ultimately answer the call here today, man.
Yeah. You know, it's an interesting point. And when I said to you about we're going to find out a lot about this team, we're going to find out about the character of this team. People keep comparing it to 2023. People are comparing it to, oh, well, maybe it's 2024. We're going to find out this afternoon which season it's more like, because this is kind of a key pivotal point. This is a breaking point for this team, you know, in a positive or negative direction. You lose this game, you lose 3 in a row. The wheels are really going to start to spin. Talk radio is going to be on fire this week. The city's going to be on fire this week. However, you win on the road in Minnesota. You come home, you get a revenge game against the Giants next week. And things start to look a lot better, and you're hopefully, knock on wood, staring down the barrel of 6-2 heading into the bye week. 2 completely different roads here for this team, man. But it is interesting because last year, you know, when we had the talk of the passing game, and it's media, it's fan-driven, it's Negadelphia, but there were really no issues. This team knew what it was. The difference for me right now, man, and we haven't really talked about it on Faithful at all because I don't think we wanted to get too down in the dumps. A lot of closed-door meetings very early on in a season for a team that was 4-0. Like, we had the Saquon, AJ, and Jalen meeting. Now there was an offensive meeting, and, you know, Saquon feels great about it, and Patullo, you know, wants to get back to running the ball, and, you know, that everyone feels good about it. And last year it was just narratives. It was just, you know, fans being fans or media being media. If you're having all these meetings early on in the year, there's something to the issue behind closed doors. So that's what I want to see today, man. You are 1,000% correct when it comes to this offense. I don't care if it's Brian Flores. I don't care who's on that Minnesota defense. You have too much talent to continue looking the way you have the first 6 weeks of the season. So this is a get-right spot for this team, man.
I think to your point, man, the difference between this year and last year that we could have confidence is that we were running the fucking football and Saquon was leading the NFL in rushing yards and pretty much every offensive statistic for a skill player, right? He started off the season hot not both of those games. I just remember those 2 nationally televised games where he went off, but obviously throughout all of last season, he ended up with 2,000 yards. He was going off, and the offensive line, more importantly, was getting a push up front and doing their job more consistently. Now, to be fair, they've been beat up, right? Lane in and out. Landon Dickerson obviously beat up in and out. You got Cam Jurgens in the middle, who A lot of people are noticing that he's not living up to par of what he produced last season. So you got a lot of question marks floating around. But at the end of the day, guys got to answer the call and do their jobs. And at the end of the day, I do trust a Jeff Stoutland to figure out a way to get this shit together. And maybe the way was just getting those 10 days off in between that Giants game and this next matchup and getting that team a little bit of rest, getting that offensive line specifically a little bit of rest, getting the defense a little bit of fucking rest, because not only are they beat up defensively, and I know I'm going on a whole tangent. We'll get to keys to victory and all, but not only are they beat up defensively, the offense is not helping them at all. In the past, in last season, I say the past, I mean last season, right? That's the success story. Last season, you were able to run the football and burn clock. That keeps your defense on the sidelines. That keeps them over there drinking their water, hydrating, and refreshing for the next series. And that's something that we just haven't had, especially in second halves where we're just going 3 and out, 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 3 and out. The defense is going off the field and getting right back on it after grueling drives, 80-yard drives where the other team is running the football down our throats. They're having no problem doing that, right? Playing smash mouth football. And so overall, you look at this team, man, it's time to answer the call. You're going to help each other out, right? The defense will look better if the offense looks better, and vice versa. It has to come from the entire team today. Agreed. And you mentioned it. They have to answer the call today, man. That's what it comes down to. We're going to learn a lot about this team. Are you like last season, or are you like the season before?
Yeah.
If you go out today and you get blown out by Carson Wentz, brother, it's over.
Yeah, that is a pivotal point of something we haven't talked about.
It's over.
We've played Carson in a different uniform already, right?
Yeah.
So
it's not necessarily about like him performing at a high level. It's not that he can't. It's just more about like, this narrative is knocking on the door. Let's address it and not let it happen, right? And that's something that like they're teetering of like not being able to do that shit this season with the last 2 games. That's why this is a monumental game. They need to answer that call, man. But what are you looking at specifically today, brother? What do they specifically need to do today to get this thing going right?
I'm gonna go to my man Pumper here, because that's my biggest thing. When we talk keys to victory, we like to look at the opposing defense and what they don't do well versus what we do well. And, you mentioned running the ball, and obviously they want to get back to that. I know you're smiling. Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to say anything. I kind of knew you were waiting to
let me turn that off.
Yeah. We're talking about the Rams game for anyone confused right now.
I have Kyron Williams study, everyone. I'm on a major losing streak betting. But we move on.
We get the vibes back right now. But vibes are down for me because of what Pumper's talking about. Like, it's very hard for me to sit here and try to key in on something that the Eagles should do, because I don't know what this dude is going to do. Yes, at the end of the day, it is about players making plays. And you have all this talent, and AJ and Smitty and Saquon and Jalen and this offensive line, they should be able to overcome, bad play calling.
Yeah.
They haven't so far. And if we go out and we continue to run these basic route concepts, it's either a go or it's a curl. It's a comeback route that, if they're under center or in the pistol, it's a run. If they're in shotgun, it's a pass. All the predictability within this offense. Yeah. It's hard for me to key in on something, because at the end of the day, what position are your players being put into to make plays? I'm going to start defensively, man. I think this defense needs a major bounce back spot. And what better way to get right than Carson Wentz? What better way to force some turnovers, to put your offense in good situations, in short fields, than against Carson Wentz? This defense got railed in New Jersey, last Thursday night. Obviously, all sorts of banged up. Carter doesn't play, gets announced before the game. Q gets hurt. There's issues all across the board. CB2 was already an issue. Now it's even more glaring. But that should have never happened. I need this defense to bounce back today, and it starts on the ground. It starts in the trenches. They have no pass rush, and they can't stop the run right now, Scotty. That's something that this team did exceptionally well in the postseason last year. They have to find someone, whether it's a Josh Uche, whether an Azeez Ojulari can get in and make a play, whether Jahad Campbell, when Nakobe Dean back, gets put on the edge and can make a play. They have to find a way to get after Carson, to rattle his cage, but to also not let Jordan Mason beat you up in the hole. So it starts there for me. Get the ball back for this offense, and make Carson pay today.
Yeah, I think when you look at last week, I think it's important to be clear. Like, last week's game against the Giants is a game that you could have won even with Kevin Petula's play calling, right? Or lack thereof when it comes to quality. Jalen Hurts had a bad game last weekend. He did. The defense had a bad game last Thursday. Excuse me, not last weekend, but last Thursday. The defense played horribly. Quinyon was injured. Jalen Carter did not play. These aren't excuses. This is just what it is, right? Yeah. And then on the other side of the ball, you had A.J. Dillon fumbling at the end of the game when you still, after all of that has occurred, have a chance to go down and still keep this game competitive. Ultimately, they could have won that game, even with Kevin Petula's poor play calling. But we move on. It's the Giants. You got to bounce back. I think a big thing today, to your point about this defense, it's the personality. Because last week we saw Jahad Campbell, getting rammed out of bounds, not ramming out of bounds, the quarterback, right? He was getting rammed out of bounds. And I get it. You don't want to get 15-yard penalty. Like, I get that's probably been hammered into their brains, but it's just not a good look. And what I'm kind of getting at here is Jalen Carter did not play in that game. And we get so caught up in like some of the things that he does competitively to get his edge, right? And he gets a little maybe out of hand at times. But I think on the other side of that, I would rather have that than what happened last Thursday. I would rather have Jackson Dart laying on his ass than what happened last Thursday with Cam Scatterbo just running through our fucking defense. Yeah. So I think Jalen Carter is going to bring that edge back today. I think he's going to bring that ferocity back in the middle of that defensive line. And I think that's going to be a huge difference, along with Quinyon returning to the lineup today. That was a muscle injury, so tread lightly, please, but we need him at the same time. We fucking need him. So.
I agree. And Vic, I trust Vic Fangio with my life.
Yeah.
Let him follow Jefferson around, man. I like you are right. Tread lightly. We don't want anything to continue to linger and make worse, in week 7 that threatens the season, right? But even though, we're poking fun at Carson Wentz can push the ball down the field. He can get into a rhythm if Justin Jefferson is lined up against Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson or whoever has to play today.
Dreadless Keely Ringo.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, last year Sirianni shaved his head. This year, Keely cut off the thread. So we'll see what happens. But you mentioned Jalen Carter, man. It goes a little bit deeper for me with him than just bringing the personality and bringing the toughness back to this defense. When you are missing the pass rush, specifically from your edge rushers right now, whether it's the injuries, it's the guys you lost, whatever's going on, someone has to step up. And he, even injured before the injury last week, has not made his presence really been felt this year. I need a Jalen Carter day. If you can't get pressure from, why am I drawing a blank? From a Jalix Hunt, from a Josh Uche, etc., then the interior of your defensive line needs to step up and make plays, and it starts and ends with 98, right? Because Jordan Davis, you're not going to get a ton of interior pressure with. So on Moro Ojomo, maybe, depending where he's lined up, but you need a Jalen Carter to be Jalen Carter-like in this matchup for this team. So definitely someone to keep an eye on, man. But yeah, the back end of this defense cannot get toasted, especially, it was Jackson Dart last week. It was Bo Nix in the fourth quarter 2 weeks ago. Now it would be Carson Wentz. These are not the Matt Staffords, Baker Mayfields, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes that you played the first 4 weeks. I don't know what's going wrong right now, but again, you mentioned soft, not physical. They're not doing any of the things that made the Eagles last year, and they need to find a way to right the ship today.
They're soul searching. That's what they're doing right now. Even as a 4-2 team, and it's something that we've had to acknowledge along the way. But definitely after the last two games, you're soul searching. You're trying to figure out who you are and reestablish that in this game. The next thing I'm looking at, man, obviously we mentioned Kevin Patullo, and I think that's something that we can harp on the whole show, obviously, but going back to the offense, looking at who's manning this show, who's leading the ship, and I need a Jalen Hurts answer today, right? Like you had the game last week where it doesn't leave me there, but it leaves for speculation. All Jalen this, Jalen that, the misread with the interception, the overthrow to Smitty, leaves all these open doors for conversation again. And all I'm asking is for one to come out and lead the way today and just play Jalen Hurts football. Don't play out of your element. I think that's what we started to see last weekend, man. I think we started to see Jalen Hurts pushing, right? Thinking about all of the shit that's being said out here. I need to get the ball to AJ. I need to get the ball to my receivers. I need to do this. I need to do that. No, you just need to go out and you need to play football and play it the right way. And if that means using your legs more, go out and do it. And this is the type of game where I feel like Jalen can get the feel of the game. Brian Flores is going to blitz the shit out of him. Let's be for real. Like, that's what's going to happen with the Vikings today. Jalen is going to be blitzed, but in order to somewhat stop the blitzing, right? Control it, right? You have to be able to run the football. And obviously a lot of that is on Saquon. A lot of it's on the offensive line, but it's also on Jalen Hurts to pick those spots to kill defenses. A lot of the times it's on third downs. It's
you can't miss that Smitty throw again.
No, I agree. I do agree. In the air, you have to answer the call across the board. I just think we've seen all the crying for passing the last few weekends, right? Or the last few weeks, I should say. It's okay to be the dual threat, man. Like, we don't have to be this prolific passer. And I'm not saying I think he does throw for over 200 yards today. I don't think, like, I've seen the numbers on that, right? The odds. I think he goes out here and throws the football today. I just think you may see one of those games where Jalen ends up with 60, 70 rushing yards, picking his spots. And I think that is the best version of the Eagles offense ultimately, is when he's using his legs. It opens up the lanes for Saquon as well in the option game. But yeah, man, it all, as I'm talking through that, my brain just, starts connecting and it goes back to Kevin Patullo.
Yes.
That's so I'm thinking all of this, and it just gets back to the base point of Kevin Patullo. Though
you're making great points. And at the end of the day, these are the guys that are in between the white lines, right? These are the guys with the ball in their hands. These are guys that control the outcome for the most part. But obviously there's no sport quite like football where coaches have such an impact, right? Yeah. And matter and are that important. And I say that to say this, man. My key. What I'm looking for today on offense, Scotty, I'm just looking for balance. I'm looking for balance, and I'm looking for less predictability. Yeah, that's it. That's the two things I'm looking for from Kevin Patullo, because you were run heavy, not creative in the pass game the first 4 weeks. Yeah. The fans, the media start talking about throwing the ball, and he hears, throw the ball. Throws the ball 40 times, runs it 6 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Throws the ball 35 times on Thursday night. Saquon gets 12 carries. That's not balance. Again, I'll scream it from the rooftops. When I say throw the ball, I don't only mean to throw the ball. When I say run the ball, I don't only mean to run the ball. You are a goddamn play caller at the highest level of the defending champs. Yeah. You don't look qualified for the job you have right now.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say.
And be less predictable. We keep talking about the numbers, man. Dan Orlovsky, other guys have broken down the numbers and the film. When they line up under center, it's a run. When they line up in the shotgun, it's a pass. That can't happen. When you do run the ball, can we get an outside zone? Can we pull a tackle or a tight end and do some misdirection? Can we get some motion pre-snap? Can we do something to get the defense's eyes moving? Because all you're doing is being predictable, and when you do hand it off to 26, you're running them in between
into
the tackles.
A wall. Yeah, you're running them into a wall.
It's so vanilla. It's crazy.
Yeah, you got to switch it up. It's funny you use the term balance. That's exactly what I wrote on my notes here as well, man. Balance. And simply, like, let's involve everyone. Like, It doesn't have to be like this, just like 23 target, AJ Brown game. Like, we can involve everyone.
Yeah.
You can involve Smitty, AJ, Goddard, and Saquon. They can all be involved.
It's crazy, man.
Win.
Yeah, maybe John Mechie could see the field, or Jahan Dotson could catch a slant.
They should try, to that point. It's a great point. I think they should try John Mechie a little bit more, just see if he can provide something different than Jahan Dotson.
He's talented.
Try something different.
They're both talented. You know what I mean? I know the first week after the trade, he was put on kickoff return, and you had both guys, effing up the kick return against who was that? Against Denver, right? I believe that was the first week of Tank Bigsby.
Or Rams. Rams was
the Rams, excuse me.
Yeah, the kickoffs, man. That was ridiculous.
But like, you traded, I know they're mid to late round draft picks, but Tank Bigsby is a talented running back.
Yeah.
You can use him to spare Saquon Barkley. You can dump a screen off to Tank Bigsby and see what he can do with the ball in his hand. Like, you put him on the kickoff return because you see what he can do with the ball in his hands. Let's get him 3 to 4 touches a game, maybe.
Weird.
Like, it's very weird, man. What we talked about a couple weeks ago. Like, you have all this talent, man. I am so tired of the 2 tight end sets.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it.
There's no point in having
them out wide, bro. If you listen to me, if you want to be predictable and every time you're in the shotgun, it's a pass, go 4 or 5 wide every time. Then spread this defense out thin, put Saquon in motion out of the backfield, do something, and throw AJ, throw Smitty, throw Goddard, throw Saquon, throw Dotson. It's too much talent for every guy on that defense to do their job correctly every play. Someone's going to win when you give them that opportunity. So
I completely agree,
it's
man.
incredibly frustrating.
Does it change today, man? That's
the thing. Like, everyone keeps complaining about the players and Jalen and the drama with AJ. And, for me, the defense is the players thing. The defense is being soft against the run. The defense is cornerback 2 never doing its job.
Yeah.
Offensively, I'm watching, man, I just watched this offense win a Super Bowl. I watched what Shane Steichen can do with Jalen Hurts. I watched what Kellen Moore can do with Jalen Hurts. I've also seen what Brian Johnson can look like calling plays. And now I'm looking like you're just not being put in a position to make a play. And that's what bothers me the most.
At a certain point this season, if it continues, we're going to get into Super Bowl hangover. And are these guys exhausted? Are these guys getting older, right? The Lane Johnsons of the world.
What do you make of that? The whole Super Bowl hangover talk, because that just doesn't add up to me when you start 4-0 and beat the competition you played.
It is. I don't know. It is tough to think of it that way, I guess. But maybe you come back refreshed, but you just get tired faster after, having such a long, grueling season. I don't know. I can't speak to it. I never experienced it. But I do just, I look at certain things and I try not to, let it, influence my analysis, because it's, off the field stuff. But you do see these guys in all types of endorsement deals. Jalen Hurts got his own branding with Jordan, opened up a store in Philly. I get it. This is what all of the players do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen Saquon in how many endorsement deals? I'm not it's not an excuse. It's something I noticed. Maxey, once he made the All-Star team, I started noticing him in all these endorsement deals. And then what happens last year? Maybe it's just, ironic,
coincidental.
Coincidental, but maybe he just wasn't working out as hard as he usually does in the offseason. I don't know. I'm not saying that, but that's the type of combos you get into.
Right. And yes, you're right. And right. And that's what that's a cause, that's a reaction to what they're doing on the field.
Exactly.
This isn't just, because when you start to do the same things over and over again, you get in these bad habits, you're losing football games, you're losing in ugly ways. Even in your wins, it looks ugly, Now you're driving people to think, well, what's the cause of it all? And then we go down this rabbit hole, right?
Yeah. Because, you said,
this guy's doing his radio show every week. He's not focused. It's no, that's not necessarily true,
right?
But it makes you spiral.
You can
when
speculate.
When they do that, so they have to cut the shit.
Let's cut that shit out. The in-house meeting. Quick. If they're in-house, we don't need to hear about them. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, just blows my mind.
Happened with the Sixers last year, didn't it? Where something privately in the locker room that was supposed to be a private conversation gets leaked. That's not a very tight-knit locker room, if you ask me. So we'll see what happens.
Change the vibes. Come on.
The Jags had 1st and 10 at the Rams 11 with 2 minutes left and turned it over on downs, and now the Rams are about to end the game.
I low-key said a prayer like in my head for you when I saw them 1st and goal, or not 1st and goal, but I saw them in Rams territory. And was it 1st and goal? They were on the 7, right?
They got to the 11, so it was 1st
the
and
11.
10.
My bad.
All right. Apparently, game just ended. I'll take a push. I mean, these are the victories.
Better than losing your money. For. Yeah, it's better than losing your money. Yeah. So now let's lock and load for Eagles. Yeah, Eagles are going to get us right. We're going to change the vibes today, man.
With that said, let's get to predictions and best bets, man. What do you got for me today?
Yes, sir. Today I am going with the Eagles win. I do not think it's going to be easy by any means. I think the Vikings are a solid team. I think their defense is specifically solid. They got some weapons out on the side. Addison, if they do have Q following Justin Jefferson around, it is the right thing to do, but Addison is going to be so fucking annoying today. I do think the Eagles win this game. I got the Eagles winning 27-20. I want to see that offense balance today. I want to see some production. I don't think it's a matter of like getting to 30 points as far as like the barometer, right? Like, I don't think it's a points thing. I think it is consistently not having 3 and outs. Like, the opposite of 3 and outs, consistently having, sustained drives, right? And it doesn't even have to be for points all of the time, but maybe it's a first down or 2, and then you have to punt the ball off. That helps with field position. It helps with everything. You just cannot have fucking 10 straight 3 and outs in the second half of football games and expect to come out and win them. So I just want to see a consistent approach throughout the game. I don't want to see, a 27-point first half and then 0 in the second. I want to see, 14 in the first half and then 4. Like, I know that this stuff does not matter when you get the W, but this is kind of where we are after the 2 losses. We need to see certain things in order to feel comfortable with this team moving forward.
Absolutely. So, you want to start to see some of the wrongs be righted, right? Because you mentioned, like we were talking about before, like even when they were 4-0, people still had concerns and question marks. And they're winning. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Yeah. Well, now they've lost 2 in a row, and it's like, well, maybe there's something there. Now, obviously, we're just craving a win. We want 5-2. That's all we're worried about right now. But maybe they beat Carson Wentz and the Vikings, 24-21 today, but we're still having the same complaints and we're seeing some of the same ugliness. And it's like, okay, yeah, win, success, but you really didn't change my opinion.
Like, we block another field goal to win the game.
Right.
Like, all right, our special teams is legit,
or they win the game, 13-10. Defense clamps.
Carson Wentz 4 turnovers, right? Like,
the offense, like to your point, is 3 and out.
That's not going to make me feel good. No,
obviously we just want to win, but like you have to start to right some of the wrongs that the complaints that people have. Because there's something to it. But like you said, I do agree with you. I hope I should say. They do some positive things today, and they get a win, man. You lost to Bo Nix at home. You lost to a rookie on Thursday Night Football on a short week. Yeah. You can't lose to Carson Wentz. You can't lose 3 in a row. So I think they come out. I think they hopefully are a little bit more balanced today. I think they get the win, and that's going to be my best bet. I mean, I got 7 minutes to see if I like anything else in this game. But we don't really get the Eagles at value like this especially against a Carson Wentz, right? Like, when do you ever get the Eagles at like -125 or -130 on the money line? Wow, they jumped to -148 on DraftKings now.
I saw that, brother. Yeah, the line moved to 2.5 as well. It doesn't matter, man. I need a W. I'm going with Eagles money line.
I agree. Even that's still good value for the Eagles against the Carson Wentz compared to what we would normally.
I don't care. So I'm eating the juice. Give me a W. Some other props that I do like today, man, but 100% I'm with you. I don't know that I'll be laying them. It's just something I'll kind of keep an eye on in a sense. I mentioned Jalen Hurts. I'm looking at him. His touchdown odds are obviously great. They were at +100. I think they're at -110 before the show started. I don't know what they're at now.
-120.
minus 120, so it keeps dropping. Saquon odds are also great for the tutty. Either one of them could obviously score. Hurts over 200 passing yards. It was at minus 129. I do like that stat today. I think if the Eagles win, he's going to have to be proficient in the passing game. You're not going to be able to.
200 plus is minus 114 right now.
Oh, so it dropped a little bit then. Well, I like that as well. And then, I was looking at touchdown scorers as far as skill positions, and Dallas obviously sticks out, right? He scored in the last couple games, but I feel like if I go in the skill player direction, I just have to go AJ until it's at this point. But yeah, like I said, it's Eagles money line today, man. Keep it simple. But those are some of the things I do actually like in order to lead them to the victory, right? So we'll see.
I agree.
Hurts is the guy I'm keeping my eyes on today offensively, man. Yep. Let's answer the call.
I agree, bro. All right. Let's go see if they do everything we're asking them to do, guys. There's over 50 people in here right now. I know you're not all checking it out on YouTube. So if you are watching on Twitter or you're watching in replay form on Twitter, do us a favor. Make sure to check out the DSM Philly YouTube link in our bio, in our link tree, in our bio. Subscribe, share it, like it, whatever you got to do, but continue to help us grow. We greatly appreciate it. Go Birds, and we will be talking to you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
Peace, everybody. Go Birds.